Hello and good evening, and welcome to a new episode of Why None POV. Today, I have something special. It is a Volkswagen Golf R Mk6. Thank you, Mr. Mac, for borrowing me your car to live for the day, for the week actually. And the Golf R is actually something special. It was the first time that Volkswagen actually came up with a proper turbocharged four-wheel drive super hatch. This was also the end of the domination of the Japanese four-wheel drive turbocharged sedans. Around 300 horsepower, that makes no difference. On this, it is a 2-litre EA113 turbocharged 2-litre engine producing around 270 to 280 horsepower, mated to a 6-speed DSG dual clutch transmission, with all power going to 4 wheels through a Haldex electronically controlled system. Now, the Golf Mk6 has always been, especially the R, has always been a little forgotten because, to be very honest with you, it looks very normal. It looks very subtle. Only those who know would know, judging by those big 18-inch rims and those big brake calipers. Now, the Golf itself is a classy, comfortable, and capable family hatchback. If the owner did not choose to put a massive subwoofer, you would have the likes of 400 plus liters in the boot. Easily as practical as some of the Japanese hot hatch sedans. At the same time, the back seat quarters are generous. Capybara. I am 183 centimeters tall, and sitting behind myself on the front passenger, I have plenty, actually quite generous knee room. The seat is actually quite high off the ground, so I can actually stretch out a little bit. Seat comfort is actually quite good, and I actually still have around 2 inches of headroom above me, and that is despite the sunroof. Space in the back here, life in the back here is actually quite nice despite these bulky racing seats, which means they are actually firm at the back and there's no pocket. But you do get aircon vents, you do get windows that go all the way down and they're automatic. The back portion is still soft touch. It feels like a very classy interior. You get a very overly complicated German armrest, as you can see, with the very elaborate hinge system, so that it actually follows the left and the right. Right, except despite the elaborate hinge, there is no cup holder. So you're relegated to the bottle holders on the side of the door, which are actually covered in a soft felt so they don't rattle. Attention to detail for you. The doors are quite big and the aperture is big as well. You get individual reading lights at the back seat too. Life at the back here is a lot more comfortable than in a thing like a Subaru Impreza or even the Mitsubishi Evo. Just Volkswagen things, you know. The rear window is all the way back and the slightly boxy look gives it a much more practical rear quarter space. As if every Volkswagen, everything feels like it is made from a solid block of metal. Massive C-pillar here, but because the windows are so large, I can actually get away with visibility. 18-inch rims here, and they're covered with 225/40 R18 Hankook Evo 3 tires. Keyless entry, even though it actually has a key, because on the lower spec Volkswagens they are actually not keyless, but because they have keyless on this model with a proper keyless entry and go system, they actually mounted the little starter button right here, where you expect the key to slot in for the normal Volkswagen models. You can see you have a DIN audio hi-fi system, some trim age because this car is quite old, but yet soft touch materials all over the interior that makes it feel nice, and a bottle can fit right there and has felt lining so it doesn't rattle around. The seats look fantastic. They are buckets, obviously. They fit me very snugly, and they are full manual, so there's less things to worry about to break. In here, what you get, the iconic blue and white dials for the R model, this very solid feeling dashboard. Yes, it looks a little plain, it looks a little bit boring, but we all know that these designs age very well. And the one thing that I love about older cars, everything is a physical control. You don't get much anyway of touch screens and stuff. Everything is physical. Even the handbrake is physical, and I love that about this car. So let's get ahead and start her up, and let's go for a drive. This is modified. Dual zone air conditioning with 3-step heated seats for the front. Generous sized glove box with felt lining too. And in this case, there is also wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, courtesy of the owner. Power windows are all automatic. You get your obligatory mirror controls over here, and the best part about them, it obviously fold them, and they are also heated. Well, a lot of people may feel like, hey, heated mirrors are, useless in Malaysia, but no, during the rain, these will keep the water off that windscreen because it gets hot. Automatic headlights, automatic wipers, cruise control, and obviously the obligatory Volkswagen pedal shifters. Now when it comes to the headlights, they actually swivel during the corners and would automatically adjust. Now in the interior of the Volkswagen Golf 6R, so a few things that I really like about this: everything is almost manual. The seats, the gearbox, everything you touch is still tactile quality. Buttons, apart from this is a modified unit, and you get even a physical handbrake. This lovely solid feeling gear shifter. Only thing I wish that the plus and minus would be inverted. Minus on the upper, plus on the lower makes more sense in a Tiptronic. You've got nice aluminum pedals and a very good and adjustable driving position. The driving position of this car is bang on, excellent, and it caters to people who are of different heights very, very easily. Got very clear and easy to operate centimeters. And so let's go for a drive. I appreciate the auto locking. Now, people who are into the JDMs may be very, very surprised to say that why did I say this car ended the domination of the Japanese turbocharged four-wheel drive sedans, the legendary rally monsters like the Impreza STI and also the Mitsubishi Evo. Now, driving around town, okay, this car has its dynamic chassis control or electronic dampers replaced with Forster adjustables, so the ride would be a lot harsher than original. And yet, the ride around town is easily comfortable and bearable enough for the daily day-to-day drive situation. On something like an Impreza or Evo, especially if you drive the manual variants, town work like this, driving around town, getting up and down hills, and also just driving the car like a daily driver's car, is difficult. They have rubbery gear shifts, they have a difficult clutch bite point, and also a massive amount of turbo lag, since they are using slightly more old school engine technologies. And we are talking about the year circa 2009, 2010, where this car is just introduced. In this case, this DSG felt like an absolute revelation. The way it changes up its gears is so fast, it's so smooth, that there is literally no interruption in power whatsoever, which is the reason why it could achieve a very quick acceleration time of 5.5 seconds and go all the way to a top speed limited to 250 kilometers per hour, despite on paper only having 270 horsepower but 350 newton meters of torque. That massive amount of 350 newton meters gets sent to all four wheels via a Haldex system, and it starts from 2000 all the way to 5000 RPM. Being in stop-go traffic, there's no clutch to be difficult about. The gearbox shifts relatively smoothly, and you can just go about your day feeling comfortable enough. And the car, the interior, the space is premium. It feels like you're sitting in a more quality product. It does not feel like that you're sitting in a shed, in a tin shed, or in interior which is not well thought out. The interior is practical, it's spacious, it's refined enough that you don't blow your eardrums every single time you drive this car. And that is something that is missing from the Japanese market at that time. The Civic FD2R, for example, fantastic driver's car, but you wouldn't want to drive it daily, and definitely not beyond 2 hours, and it will blow your eardrums out and your spine would have gotten into ashes. The Impreza and the Evo, sure, they are more livable, especially the Impreza, but they are just not as effortlessly comfortable as the Volkswagen Golf Mk6, especially the R models. Additionally, the fuel consumption of this car has surprised me. During the week, despite me driving up and down left, right and center through the worst traffic jams in Kuala Lumpur, and also having a bit of fun by driving this car around the highway or slightly faster roads, I was able to actually average around 10 kilometers per litre, with a total range of around 400 kilometers plus per tank of fuel, which is impressive considering that this car is pushing nearly 300 horsepower and is a performance car. And I just washed my car, dang it. The ride is on the firmer side on this car due to the Forster suspension. However, driving it around town like this is no hard work. It is almost just as effortless as driving any other automatic hatchback. With how the throttle responds, there's almost no indication of how much power is actually available on your right foot. With light taps of the throttle, the gearbox shifts very early, which is very smoothly, a little too early for my liking sometimes because of the turbo lag. Sometimes you end up with nothing and you're waiting until it touches 2000 RPM and the gearbox shifts up. Likewise, there is absolutely no problem driving it around urban environments like this. The visibility is actually very good, even at the back, because the car is quite boxy. You would know where you would be placing the car. The steering is on the numb and heavy side, but it's actually not too bad. And when the turbo kicks in, that gearbox is fast, y'all. Now, no one obviously drives a Golf R just around town just to see how it feels. So let's get on some slightly faster roads and see how it feels. I'll normally drive this car in manual, so here I go, and I'll use the paddle shifters on the side. Now shift to 5th, 4th, and to 3rd. That sound never gets old. The DSG Volkswagen Group, or FART as we call it, really never gets old. And what I would normally do is also turn off traction control and stability control, because on this car, ESC is not completely off. You can't turn it completely off. So let's have some fun. Now this car uses a 4-wheel drive system by Haldex with electronic control by Volkswagen that is able to send almost 100% of the torque to the rear wheels when needed. If you're hearing high-pitched whines, it's because the wiring of the amplifier and the subwoofer in the boot sometimes may get a little bit loose when cornering hard. That gearbox and this engine, acceleration of this car makes it feel like you are shooting yourself out of a gun barrel. It is ballistic. The brakes are feelsome. I'm only a little disappointed by the steering because I couldn't really accurately pinpoint where the steering is headed. The ride is definitely firm, but I could have wished for a little more damping, but then we are on coilovers, so aftermarket coilovers, so unfortunately I can't say much about that. Like sections like this, I really wish that there was a bit more German style damping. It really doesn't like to corner with bumps in the middle of the road, as you can see, because the damping is a little too Japanese right now. It feels a little like a Honda when you corner and it doesn't want to absorb the bumps properly. But oh goodness, respect it, corner in slightly slower, and the moment you touch the throttle exiting the corner, it will pull. Sliding a little bit, step on it, and oh my god! You really have to have your concentration on the throttle pedal. You can't get in the corner, you're not expecting any form of rotation, to be very honest, in this car. It's very difficult to get the car to rotate. It's a little safe handling. It feels like it's going to understeer. But the moment you get the angle right and you floor that throttle and let the engine sing, that Haldex 4-wheel drive system will sort everything out for you. It is so capable, this thing. And the ride is getting a little too bouncy for my liking. So I would reduce some speed, downshift, enter. It feels inconsistent when you enter the corner, but oh god, the moment when you throttle it out, you've got to respect its entry. You can't rush it. Slowing down, it doesn't really like to corner as well. It really hates it when I brake into corners. But when you have a corner like this, long sweeping ones, just throttle and get the car out. And oh my goodness, does it hold on to the road. It's so capable, and it's scary because I had to shut off because of the wind noise on top. It's scary because you feel like you have no involvement in it. It just sorts everything out for you. It almost makes it feel it's easy. And I actually feel like I can drive like this, though not recommended, with one hand. And that's the scary part about this car. You have almost zero involvement in what it's doing, but yet it is so crazily capable that you are just lost for words as the car corners and takes you out of the corner faster and faster and faster, beyond speeds that you would think they are humanly possible for physics or for the car to do. Like, damn, that never gets old. The seats hold you in well. I just wished that Volkswagen had injected a little more fun and feel into this car. Despite my best efforts to align, to have to give it a bit more fun alignment to the owner, it still feels disconnected. Like, I can do this to the steering, but there's no feedback whatsoever. I don't know what the front wheels are doing. The corner entries in this car are nigh on almost scary because you have no idea if it's going to understeer. But exiting the corner, oh goodness me, it is magnificent. I really wished, there was a way to put a bit more fun and feel into this car, because it is so capable. But it leaves me cold as well. Driving in here, without any feel apart from the bumps, with no idea what the front wheels are doing, except when you throttle on, it makes for a slightly numbing experience. It feels like a personal bullet train, a transportation device to send you from A to B as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But truth be told, not everyone wants to be thrilled with their ride, and this car is just so capable. And once you put it back into D and drive it like a sane person, like a normal person, it turns back into a Volkswagen Golf. Civilized, comfortable, quietly confident, and classy. And I've got to respect the Volkswagen Golf R for that. It does not do one thing particularly well, which most hot hatches and performance car would it does not make you feel like your pants are on fire. It does not make you feel that tingle, that ooh la la, I want to go for that again. You know, let's do that again. That was fun. One more time. It almost felt clinical. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to be fast. What up? Yeah, I'm supposed to be this quick anyway. So no surprises there. But you've got to respect it for being the absolute all-rounder. A family car or personal transportation that is calm when needed, and when you put your foot down, an absolute capsule of speed and capability. That is quite difficult to achieve, to be frank. And you just gotta respect this car for what it can do. And credit where credit is due, this is the reason why we get more crazy super hatches like the Mercedes-Benz A45 AMG, the Audi RS3. This opened doors for hatchbacks to be considered serious competitors and serious performance cars rather than just a normal front-wheel drive hot hatch. It opened doors to more performance opportunities for the C segment or B segment hatchback even. Dare I say it, without this, without the existence of this, we might not even get the things like the A45 or the GR Yaris or Corolla. And after you're done clowning around, you can just go back to being sane, civilized, like a Volkswagen. That is, you just gotta respect it. And the fact that the prices now are cheap because it's largely forgotten. If you have the budget, if you have more budget in when it comes to your wallet to fix this up properly, it is a very, very excellent alternative to the hyped hatchback sports cars of the 2010s. Civic Type R, you get a JDM text and they are very uncomfortable. Impreza and Mitsubishi Evo JDM text, they are expensive. And to be frank, you can also get the wild BMW 135i. But when it comes to overall ownership experience, it's very hard to fault this Volkswagen. Truth. And you know what's the best part? It's surprisingly reliable. For a car that has done 150 plus thousand kilometers since 2009, this car has its few breakdowns, but all of them are wear and tear parts, and never major breakdowns concerning the gearbox or the engine that needs to be overhauled. And I couldn't say the same thing for the Subaru or even the Mitsubishi Evo and even the Honda. Parts are actually surprisingly reasonable if you know your way around a VAG part. And yeah, it has changed my mind on this car. I still don't love it, but I have huge respect for how this car drives and what this car represents in the hot hatch community. That's it for now, and come in for part 2 for a silent POV video. See you guys soon. Peace.